Welcome to the Fusion Dance Podcast. I'm Kaylin, and I'm joined with a guest of guests, someone who has blessed the local Los Angeles dance scene as well as dance scenes across America and the rest of the world. The illustrious, the one and the only, the Dave Harris himself in the flesh. What's up, brother? How we doing?
What up? What up? How we feeling?
Real good, man. Real good. Really excited to get into some stuff. But before we
Hey.
do, can you introduce a little bit of your story and your background, the context that you were coming from, especially dance-wise, to the people listening?
Yeah. Where to start with that? So I'm Dave Harris. I am a writer for a living. I write for TV, film, and theater. But prior to all that, we're talking about like dance history specifically. My whole family has always danced. As a kid, I probably started off, like memorizing the choreography to Michael Jackson music videos and Usher and shit like that. And then from there, kind of went into musical theater. And then had a little bit of like ballet and musical theater inside of that. And then in college, I remember crashing all the Latin dance team parties my freshman and sophomore year because I was like, our parties, it's all people of color, and the music is always going to hit. And then I was like, maybe I should try to actually get invited to these parties to see if I can get on. And so then in undergrad, I was in the Latin dance group, mostly doing bachata and also choreographing lap dances because we turned that into a thing in that group.
Oh, word.
It all springs from the same fountain. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but I remember in 2014, summer 2014, I was living in where the hell was I? I was living in Denver. And there was a place called the Mercury Cafe where I was there doing like poetry readings. And one night they had this upstairs where they did dance. They did dance like different dance lessons every single night. And one night I stumbled upstairs and they were doing blues dancing. And it was the first time I'd ever seen blues in my life. And it changed my whole life. I was like this music, but also this sensuality and this freedom. Because blues has a very specific tradition and movement style, but also it's so inviting to your personality, to whatever you want to bring to it. And feeling that space and feeling that kind of connection and feeling like, oh my God, everyone is asking everyone to dance. Like I had 80-year-old women coming up and asking me to dance. I had people coming up and asking me to lead and to follow in that thing where I was like, oh, I feel like the first time I'm in a space where barriers are erased. I just never felt anything like that in my life. And so then since then, that then turned into more bachata, more blues, even though blues, it feels like a lot of blues scenes kind of died out. That's a whole thing. We got some shit to talk about, okay?
Yeah.
And then when I was in San Diego for grad school in like 2017, I stumbled into fusion because it felt like a lot of blues scenes were becoming blues fusion scenes, and now it's not blues fusion anymore, it's just fusion, which again, I'll talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it was turquoise at one point, then they were just like, nah, we're not even we off that. It's just fusion now. It's just yeah.
But so then now I do fusion, salsa bachata, and when I got sick of fusion, I started doing hip hop again. And there are different stories for why all that happened.
Yeah.
But that's kind of I feel like dancing to me feels the same as writing, feels the same as the things that feel really personal and artistic to me.
I love that. I love that, man. Like that. I love that you connected it to your to like the writing and to the other things that you do. Also, folks, if y'all don't know this man can hook it up in the kitchen. Like this is a dude who actually I need to talk to you about something later that's in that exact line and path. Because this dude is like, if you give him time, like that man, you know what I'm saying? He will have an answer for anything. So if you're hungry and you need to figure that out, like hit this man up.
It's real. I mean, it's funny. I feel like I say like the four places where I feel most myself are writing, cooking, dancing, and sex, and they all kind of feel like the same thing. I think to me, I feel like part of my mom called I was going to be a writer when I was in like second grade. I was like, no, I'm not, and she was right. But for me, I think so much of my life is oriented around language that I feel like I'm always searching for spaces where memory and sensation happen before the language for it happens. I feel like those are spaces like food, like you take a bite and it's like the whole memory exists in the bite, or like dancing. It's like I have danced with people where I'm like, I don't know where that came from or what just happened. But whatever we just connected on that happened without language, but still that depth and that depth and personality. And I feel the same way about sex, the same way about writing in a lot of ways. It's like it's coming from somewhere where I don't know exactly what that is, and I can put language to it after the fact, but the sensation of it happens before like my mind can catch up to it.
there's something about that sort of like it's like this like precognitive, just deep emotional, and I think like vulnerability is a big part of that, right? Like there's a part of you that does have to be vulnerable, that has to be open, that has, and the person that you're connecting with also has to be open as well, to that
Yeah.
experience. And when it happens, it's like one of those things that I find most frustrating to try to articulate to people who don't dance, to folks like to my friends who like they don't get it, they're not in it, so
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I don't know, it just look like y'all just whatever. And I'm like, no, you have to be in the moment. Like you don't understand. This is a
Yeah.
different level of communication. And
Yes.
when you've had an experience, it's like you can't undo that. So even as you talked about kind of like your dance origin story, like stepping in, blues was kind of that for me. I started with salsa and bachata, and then I got into West Coast swing and blues. But I was introduced to blues way earlier, and it was one of those things I didn't know where to find it or any of that kind of stuff. So I kind of dipped into it, and then was all in salsa bachata. But it was one of those lingering things where I was like, man, that was crazy. And if I have the chance to find this again, I want to tap in. So
Yeah.
fast forward, it was like years later that when I finally reconnected to blues. At that point, it was kind of like blues fusion. It was in that turquoise space,
Yeah.
Then it
Yeah.
eventually became fusion. So I definitely I'm like, oh yeah, like it was different. It was something where I felt like I was able to kind of dance past the limitations of language that I understood. Because at the time I only had the salsa bachata vocabulary. That's all I had. But I was able to dance beyond that in a way with people where we had these moments and we're like, what? What was
Yeah.
like what's
Like, where'd
that?
that come from?
Where was this?
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's some kind of instinct that happens before technique, before all those
Mhm.
other things, where it's just like, oh, it almost feels like childlike.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's
No,
really
that's
cool to
so.
find a way to tap that.
Mm. I was teaching at Atomic recently, and the lesson that I had was titled "Feel Me." And I don't want to give away too much because if you weren't there, you weren't there. Not you, not you. I know you were busy. Not you. Not me. But the folks listen.
Yeah.
A little more shady than I meant it to be. I meant it a little more. Anyways,
No, I'm not even in the country. I'm in London right now. Oh, makes me feel so
oh man, this is great. Off to a great start. Yeah, I know Trang gonna listen back at this and be like, "You're not supposed to piss off the guest, Caleb." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's my fault."
no, this
Um,
is all envy. This is all sadness that I wasn't there.
Oh man, it was sad that you weren't. Oh man, I think you would have really enjoyed it. But the
Yeah.
gist of it was I wanted people to be able to understand and recognize the
Yeah.
shifts in emotion as well as the shifts in energy, and give people prompts. So one of the things that we did is we had this exercise where people had these different prompts. There was an energy prompt, meaning you carry yourself with a heaviness or a lightness, a sadness, just different emotions, flirtatious, confident, versus having a specific sort of I'd say like being light, being heavy, being sharp, being smooth. And then giving them specific actions and prompts. So, compliment the person 5 times, or break away from the dance as a follow, like physically disconnect from your partner. Like giving people those different prompts and then allowing them to process and break down. What did it feel like? What was it
Yeah.
that what did it do for you? What did it do to the person you were dancing with? And then also giving them this prompt to try to guess what the other person was doing.
Yeah.
And so it ended up being really playful, and it got people, I think, to this place where they opened up about their dance experience and things that they experienced in a way that people across to them were like, oh, I didn't even know what I did here made this person feel like that.
Hmm.
And it also, I think, brought this internal awareness of, oh, I can make this person feel like this. I can show them who I am or what I want and articulate the emotion clearly so that the other person can pick up on that and can play into that. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love that you're talking about it from a place of feeling too, because I feel like so many dance spaces, and it's like technique is important, so many all those different things. But
Yeah.
it's the thing that got me into dance and made me never leave was that I was like, oh, I feel something that I don't feel in other places here.
Yeah.
And like there are parts of myself that I can articulate that like sure the more I've learned about dance, the more I learn how to articulate different things specifically. But it has to start from that place of what's the internal thing that I'm connected to inside of myself, the other person, in the music.
Yes.
That to me is like why I know I'm gonna be dancing for the rest of my life in one way or
Yeah.
another.
Like, so these knees give out, and even then, we're gonna be dancing. Like, it
Yeah.
just is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll be in there, stiff back, heads is hurting, shoulders is forward, and I'm gonna still be in there. They're gonna play Stop My Midday, and I'm like, hey, I'm in. But what? Stop playing.
Yes. Come on. In the deathbed, in my deathbed, like dancing to the heart monitor.
That little,
Yes.
hey, what? What? Nah, listen.
Oh my God.
So I wanted, I not to just jump into the deep end, but
Yeah.
I do feel like the music is such an important point
Yeah.
in the dance experience, and I'll speak for myself first. I do have feelings. I have some mixed feelings where I've enjoyed a lot of fusion and I've enjoyed it, and I will I will fight for fusion, especially in LA. But I will also say, hey, yo, listen. Sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes we be doing stuff, and sometimes the music it ain't doing what it need to do. And I feel like it's very difficult to have a conversation
Mhm,
when the
mhm,
cafe is kind of funky.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you walk, you're there, you and this person, we're trying to have this great conversation, and you know the energy is there, and then all of a sudden you hear on the radio some what? Who who's doing this?
Oh god, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
me personally, I'm not moved when I hear the sound of a light bulb flickering on and off, and
Mhm.
that's the entire track.
Yeah.
Like if the whole thing is wind chimes and cello,
Oh my god, just like a weird atmospheric drift. I'm like, "What are we doing?" Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and here's the thing, right? Because I'm gonna sound like a hater. I already know I'm gonna sound like a hater, so I just gotta like
Sometimes you gotta hate, okay? Sometimes things are worthy of hate.
a little bit, so like a little hate never hurt nobody, right? Like a little, maybe it did, but maybe the hurt was needed because it built resilience. And I feel like, and actually, this I'll connect it to a deeper point is that it feels like sometimes with fusion, it gets understood as freestyle. It gets understood as this thing that is removing all labels and constructs for the sake of the pure experience. And I think the issue with that is sometimes it gets so far out into the weeds that it forgets about the root. It forgets about the fact that the way that we dance fusion here, not the concept itself, because I would argue salsa is a fusion dance. I would argue bachata is fusion, swing is
Yeah.
fusion. When you combine different elements of cultures and peoples together, you are creating something new. That's fusion. That's what it is. That's what it means. But as we
Yeah.
dance it here, it comes from blues.
Mhm.
Like blues is the root.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whenever people talk about fusion, they always talk about blues. Like it's understood. There's
Yeah.
different origin stories and how it started, but it's undeniable that it
Yeah.
draws heavily from blues. It's blues is in that parentage line somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fundamental to blues is rhythm.
Mhm. Yep. Yes, it is.
So where the rhythm at?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I sometimes wonder because I feel like this happened in the last, like, 5 years or so, where I feel like a lot of spaces events that used to be called blues fusion events sort of like began dropping the word blues and just becoming fusion. And which to me feels like there's a lot of political implications inside of that. One of which is that I feel like it lets a lot of like white people come and just play whatever music they want to play. Um, and that to me is suggestive
Yeah,
of,
yeah,
the opposite of fusion. That's quite colonial when you think about it.
yeah.
To come in, take something, and then dominate it with your own like to me that the essence of a fusion playlist is one that implies diversity and implies different styles, different rhythms. Like in order for it to be fusion, something has to be something has to be fusing. And the question is for a lot of events that I go to, like what is being fused aside from like
Milk and milk.
yours, yes, like your kind of like strange, like it's like you want to be doing contact improv,
Mm.
and but we're calling it fusion, and then not giving like a buffet of things to choose from.
That's
Um,
what. Yeah. Sorry.
and I'm like, so I just feel like it may I mean, I feel like in the beginning of this I was saying like, oh, I stopped doing fusion for a while, because it really like it makes as a black person it makes me feel crazy. Because I was like showing up to because I started in blues scenes which gave me a very specific very freeing kind of feeling and was watching music and scenes shift such that I was like I would go to events like expecting that feeling, that connectedness, that rootedness, and then it wasn't there in a way where then it had me convinced that like, oh, I guess I must not love dancing anymore because I'm not feeling the thing that I ought to be feeling.
Yeah.
And for a while when I was like, okay, cool, let me like stop going to dance events because something is changing. Like it must be me because like
Mhm.
there are all these white people doing like that shit. And like and I'm like trying to bring like my friends, bring like other people of color here, and I'm like, oh, I can't vouch for this because and I can't like claim to be feeling that thing
Can't
that
co-sign it.
doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore. And in a way where then truly I was like, oh, I think I have to stop doing fusion. And then I like stopped dancing for a little while because I was just like, oh, okay, the spark must be gone. Until finally I remember being at an event and like the first DJ was ass, and then the second DJ came on and played. I think it was like one song by like Masego or something, where suddenly I was like, "Oh my god, there's bass, there's a downbeat, there's
There's
something here."
something to catch. Something to yeah.
And now I was like, "Oh, okay, here's the thing I've lacked." In a way where suddenly I was like, "Oh my god, the thing I've been hating all along is these DJs who I think are acting out of pocket. These DJs who are playing like an hour and a half, 2 hours of music, and not a single black artist, not a single artist of color on the playlist." So really, I think like what started me on that rant.
No, you cooking, you cooking. It was ultimately, I think it's the question of like, what the hell is the music I'm listening to? Like,
Yeah,
what is that? And I think
yeah,
like I think everything that you're kind of pointing to, ultimately, and I don't think people are intentionally malicious, and I try to walk with this assumption that you're benevolent until proven otherwise. You
Mhm.
know, I try to, I don't say I always do because I'm like some folks. I think they that's a different podcast episode. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. But like for the most part, I think people aren't acting out of an intentional desire to to alienate or make people feel outside of of fusion. I think fusion has intentionally tried to be inclusive, but
Mhm.
also if we look at who shows up, who are the people that are ranting and raving and love it, you don't see us show up and love it. And I think that's for a reason. We looked at, and I'm not going to pull up the statistics right now, but we could.
Yeah.
And the amount of black DJs in Fusion, but especially in LA, doesn't exist.
Mhm.
There's myself and Jalen.
Mhm.
Outside of that, and then we look at black dancers.
Mhm.
And I'm just saying, like from a place of observation and awareness, that there's a reason folks will show up to an event one time and we won't see them again.
Yeah.
These are conversations that I've had with people who are coming from blues, who are coming from bachata, who are coming from tango, who are coming from these different dances, and they say, "Oh, fusion was interesting. I enjoyed the community. I love this part." But when we talk about the music, they're like, "I don't know what that was, bro." I have a friend of mine. She's a phenomenal dancer, dances salsa, bachata, Lindy. I'm like, personality wise, she's a fusion person.
Yeah.
We went to an event. We were dancing. I was like, "Oh, are you okay with me throwing stuff in from other?" She's like, "Yeah." I start throwing stuff in from other dances. She's like, "I love this. I want more of this."
Yeah.
I invited her to a fusion event that I won't name. And her experience was, the dancing was fine, community is fine, all that stuff was fine. I couldn't get behind the music. It felt like it was all the same stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't defend that.
No. And it's so sad. 'Cause I'm just like, oh, there's so many friends who I bring to events, and it used to be that I could bring a friend to an event, and like they would be like, oh, maybe nervous, and I'd be like, trust me, I know you're gonna have a good time because I have faith in what the playlist is going to be. And
Yeah.
now it's like I bring someone and we sit there for like an hour, and I'm just like, I can't even force this. I'm like I'm apologizing to them for
Yeah.
what the DJs are doing, and I just am like, fusion, fuse, like give us options to work with, and I trust the black DJs of color, to do that. But also, I'm just like, anyone can do that. Anyone can have a playlist of taste. But like, some of y'all make
Yes.
playlists if you don't have
Yes.
a black friend, and that's probably true. And that to me is sad, particularly given that you know what we talked about like as the root of so many of these dances, and it's a shame because I'm just like, I know I've tried so hard to bring dance friends to these events, and I'm like, oh, I sometimes don't even want to keep telling myself, and I love it. I love dance so much,
Mhm.
and it's I want to trust it, and it's just like, oh, no,
Yeah.
no, there's nothing to trust it.
And I apologize. I think it's so real because I'm just like, it's like we took my girlfriend and I, we took some friends of ours to this restaurant we love. I mean, we love this, like we love it, and we're just talking it up, but not talking it up because we're trying to hype them up. We're talking it up because we believe in it. We're like, oh, it's so good. And I remember we walked past the kitchen, and I could see I was like, oh, I don't recognize them. Like this is new. This is new staff.
Yeah,
And I was like, it's no problem, whatever. So we get there, we sit down, we order. I'm excited, I'm ready, and then food comes out, and how off, just off. I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go.
yeah,
Ooh. And they were very polite and very very considerate. And I was like, just tell me honestly. They were like, this wasn't it. And I was like, yeah, I know. This was it was new. They're new people. This is not the regulars. It's not normally like this. But I can make all the excuses in the world that I want to. The fact is, their experience it wasn't good, and it's hard to continue to try to bring people to something
yeah,
when you can't know the experience is going to be is going to at least be like, okay, it's here. Not saying it's got to be exceptional, every single time.
yeah,
But I think there's something to be said about the quality control process, because I think there are some events, some places, some organizers. Everyone has a different perspective and a different sort of a different beat on it. But
yeah,
when it comes to especially to dance and especially to fusion, the music and the people in the room are like the two most important things. And if
yeah,
you can't I mean, most of the time places are like, hey, let's bring whoever we want, bring as many people as we can get out here. So you can't really control that part.
yeah,
But you can control the music. You can, I think, to some degree, do quality check on the music. And if it doesn't meet a certain point, like of quality, you that can throw off everybody's night.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
the floor can be trash, the lighting cannot work, it can be hot as anything. But if the music is good and the people are okay, we're gonna have a good night.
yes, yes. I think you can make an argument. I'm sure the DJs were subtextually hinting at would make the argument that like taste is subjective, and like
Yeah.
someone gone to them and been like, I loved your playlist, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm like, taste is subjective,
Mhm.
sure, but you can look at the spread of your playlist and determine like, oh, what's happening in a row over and over and over again? Who is happening in a row over and over again? Who does not exist on this playlist? In a way where it's just like, oh, those things are quite objective. In a way where then if you imagine lots of different people coming to your events, you got to be thinking, oh, who is going to feel welcome to move to what kind of music? And if your playlist is rhythmically repetitious, if it's in terms of voices, like whose voices we're hearing, like there's if you're not giving options on that, then it's like, yeah, you're not going to invite different options of people to come to.
Mhm.
Which then I'm like, oh, I don't give a fuck what your intention is. Like your taste is a barrier, and
Yes.
that's what you want it to be. Fine, but then own that and like don't call it fusion, call it like my taste.
Oh yeah, yes. Like that. Okay, I feel like that needs to be the clip. Like that. I feel like that's the clip right there. That's the one. That's the one. Like boom. That's it. Because like no, because like I think to that point, even with the with the last set. So I did a set recently at Fusion Vibe, and I know people were very kind to my face. People were like that, and not to say people are disingenuous, but I think people are going to tell you one thing, but what they experience is something else, right? And I want to know. I'm like, okay, who felt like this was a playlist for them? Who felt like this was music for them? And who felt like this was alienating? Because that's data for me. That helps me get better at doing the thing. But also, I came into it understanding that that was a night where the lesson was salsa. There were going to be new dancers there who are new to fusion but not new to dancing, who come from salsa, come from bachata, come from kizomba. So I'm keeping that in mind. Where I went kind of one and one, where there's like a Latin based song and then a fusion song, a song that is heavy on rhythm, and then a song that's very much playing into the lyrics, playing into the melody, kind of giving people that space so that they can go between these two worlds and not feel like, oh, he's only playing to one or to the other.
Yeah,
I
yes,
know some folks struggle with someone like I could see it. Like I play a song that was like I played two songs that were distinctly salsa songs.
yeah,
And I know that was a lot for some folks because I've
yeah,
thus far never, when I say never, I mean like I have never heard a salsa song at a fusion event
yeah,
ever.
yeah,
I know that I've never heard like a this song is undeniably salsa. Maybe a song that you could like, oh, you could halftime it to, or I've never heard a
yeah.
salsa song. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna happen tonight.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I played compa, I played some cha cha, like some rumba music that's like it's still fusionable. It still
Yeah,
has enough to play, kind of in the gray, but it's clearly this rhythm, this pattern.
yeah,
And I think like the reaction that I got, I don't know from the non-fusion or from the fusion people, but the non-fusion people would come up to me. There was someone from Lindy who had never danced fusion before and was like, "Man, all my Lindy friends were telling me that this would be weird and that this would be this and that. And I love the music." I was like, "Oh," and so that was the biggest compliment for me. And mind you,
yeah,
this is a black
yeah,
woman who's telling me this, and she's like, "I had a great time." I'm like, "If bring more," you know what I mean? I'm like, "Please," but like maybe,
yes,
maybe if I'm there, because I'm gonna try to make sure that you're taken care of. I think even just keeping in mind that there are different people who are coming into fusion who don't know
yeah,
what it is, that
yes,
we should, as DJs, as community leaders, as people who are trying to make this environment welcoming, we should keep in mind that they don't always know what the rules are. They don't always know that, oh, we're going to have a contact improv dance. They might have never seen it. And
yeah,
not to take anything away from contact improv. I think contact improv is a great multiplier, but
yes,
we're still dancing. So, like,
yeah,
you still need to have a dance base. And if people are coming from a dance base with no context,
yeah,
it's okay to give them something give them a song that's distinctly blues. Give them a song that's distinctly has like, oh, this is a swing rhythm.
yeah,
This is a Latin rhythm, whether it's kizomba or it's salsa or it's bachata or it's what, like, give them something that's distinctly this, and we can
yeah.
go through the weeds, but let's make sure that we're rooted.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes people mistake abstraction before
Mhm.
fusion. They're like, "Oh, fusion can be so many different things, so our music has to be as nebulous as possible." And it's like, and it's like, no, fusion can be so many different things, so you can let people like, "Oh, yeah," like you said, I'm gonna play something that's distinctly salsa. People who don't do salsa aren't gonna do salsa, but they're gonna do something to try to fit into that, And it's like, and it's like we're not gonna restrict ourselves just to that one kind of music. We're gonna give different options. So like, I love. Sometimes I'll be at an event where I'm like, oh, here's blues, and they'll go into like a song that's like hip hop into this, where I'm like, oh, I can, and then suddenly from that, like I'm building in my body a vocabulary that connects all these different styles, and then I'm like, ah, yes. I'm feeling what fusion is because I'm being given so many different styles to choose from, and like I'm the constant inside of that. So like now, like it's whatever I know and whatever I'm connecting with the other person. That's what's building the consistency between each genre, And it's just like, and from that suddenly I'm like, oh my god, wow, I feel so free to move however I want to move because there are a lot of different structures being provided and a lot of different options being provided, and I have to work my way into them instead of being given kind of like one dominant narrative and told like
Mhm.
stomp your feet to that. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like you have these different ways to show up as yourself,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
whether it has like a dominant, oh, this dance is distinctly whatever or not, you can still find ways to be you. You can still find ways to be authentic and express that authenticity in that frame without
Yeah.
necessarily doing what everyone else is doing or following the same structure that everyone else might follow, or that, a typical, like if you look out on a crowd that's dancing bachata, you're going to see a lot of the same things. You watch a crowd dancing salsa, you're going to see a lot of the same things. Whereas with fusion, it can be the same music and you see all these amazing different things. I think the problem for me is when it's staying in that place where it goes up and it's in the lyrics and it's in the melody versus kind of staying grounded in having that rootedness that a lot of rhythmic based music plays into. Like
Yeah.
we'll go so out here, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm out of my body. I'm not feeling this experience. I'm checked out. I'm like, yeah, it's time. Oh man, it's time. Oh, it's time.
Yeah.
I need a water break
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's been 30
across
minutes.
the
I'm
street.
leaving to get some tacos, you know?
Like, no, because I'll tell this quick story real quick. I had a friend of mine who another phenomenal dancer. She was someone who grew up dancing. I mean, she was like she's someone who just like music lives in her.
Yeah.
And I invited her to fusion after we danced bachata. It was at an event where she'd just been out of dance for a long time, and so I was like, yeah, I'm dancing fusion. Blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, I've never heard of that. I'm so curious. So I described it to her. She's like, oh, I'm in. Whatever that is, I want that. And if the way you're dancing reflects that, then like not to say that like I'm great. It's more so just like the freedom and the openness and the like, oh, the yes and, which is I think something that is distinctly fusion. It's very and.
Yeah.
She pulls up. I was like, is that her in the doorway? And she just looks out for the length of like 2 songs, I think. She disappears. And I was like, yo, let me get on the phone. Hey, where you at? I thought I saw you. Was that not you? She said, I went down the street around the corner and somewhere else. I couldn't do it.
Oh God, I couldn't do it. Yep, that's the feeling.
Those were the words. She went to a salsa event.
Yeah.
She said, this ain't.
Yeah. 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 And it's that that fatigue that I couldn't do it. I can't, it's that you're gonna lose someone from the dance scene who could have like really fallen in love with this space.
Mhm.
And that makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I kind of want to point to something that I noticed as well, especially just because like this last February was the 100th Black History Month, and something I wanted to kind of call attention to is like I think part of the problem. I think there is a deeper issue, and aside from Embrace, which I'm gonna say shout out Embrace because Embrace is very intentional about wanting to honor the contributions of Black folks as well as the people in their community, or I should say our community, global dance community, all that stuff. But outside of that, very few events made it a point to even acknowledge that this is Black History Month, and and to be a little spicy. They pointed towards a lot of things. There's a little St. Patty's Day theme. We had the Valentine's Day theme. It was Chinese New Year. That was a theme. We did that, so we can highlight the things we want to highlight. But when it comes to something that's so foundational, I mean, it's undeniable that Black music, Black history has contributed to the things that we're enjoying, to fusion as we understand it and enjoy it today. You can't argue that.
Every dance in this country.
Every one of them, and a whole bunch of them that they didn't even hear yet.
Yes.
We couldn't say. We just wanted to acknowledge and say that we want to give space to, or we want to ground. Like we couldn't do that.
Yes. And what's crazy is and it feels like it's tied to the going from blues fusion to fusion. Where it lets white people feel an ownership over the space that never actually belong to them. And I don't even necessarily mean that like dance has to have a particular ownership of what it is to dance, but there is something either distinctly ignorant or distinctly cowardly about saying you love a dance and love and love take great pleasure in it, but can't articulate any of the history of it, and also inside of that also can't play music that speaks to the history of it either. And that to me, like entering space like that, I'm like, oh, not only is this music bad, this is disrespectful.
That's yeah.
And in a way where then I'm just like, yes, I understand why I stopped dancing for a year. Or maybe I'll go do hip hop again because like at least then when I go to like even if I do like a class at like Playground LA, I'm like surrounded by a bunch of like little boo boo teenagers, but I'm like that's fine. The music, at least I know the music is going to be connected to something. I will take that. I will take the boo boo teens over abstract white people because no, the music will be connected to a legacy.
That's
This is like standing and a few.
I can't get over the boo boo tea.
Look, because baby, okay,
No,
I went
you're
to a
right,
dance
you're
dance
right,
class.
you're right.
I played around LA. It was my first hip hop class in LA again. And I walked in, my 30-year-old ass surrounded by a bunch of 16-year-olds talking about, and I was like, oh man, I'm about to get my ass kicked.
Hold on, hold on. Wait. This all right, this is the clip. This is the clip. This is the clip.
No, you know what's another story though?
No, go for it. Go for it. Go for
I'm
it.
in. Where's my wine? Hold up, let me take a little sip.
Mm. Yeah,
So
go for
I'm in London right now. I got here about two. I have a play going up here, and I got here about 2 weeks ago. And I was like, "Oh, let me check out the London dance scene."
yeah.
And I was like Googling, and I found like a blues class that like ended in a blues social, and I was like, "Okay, blues dancing in London, that's going to be it's either going to be incredible or some problematic is going to happen." And so I went to the first lesson. Of course, I walk in. It's all white people. But I was like, "That's fine, whatever." I just want to dance. And I get there, and the teacher is white man, white woman, and they're talking about like the pulse and the stance, and the woman, she's like, so to get in the blues, we're going to do this stance, and we do this stance because this is a Black American dance. This is how Black Americans stand, and I was like,
How do we say it?
and and
I pull my notepad out like, no, go ahead. How do we
I was like, oh, tell me how Black Americans stand.
show me?
And what was crazy is I was like, and I could see like because she wasn't used to having a Black person in her class, so I could see. I mean, I kind of heard. I saw like the look of fear in her eyes, and I was like, oh man, we're gonna have a conversation about this afterwards. And so I went up to her afterwards, and I was like, and this is the line that I think is funny. I was like, hey, I love dance. That's why I came here tonight. If you're not literate in Black American dance history, maybe don't speak in these kind of vague generalizations. And she was like, "Oh my god, no, yes, of course, I was trying to articulate." All this. And I was like, and I believe she was doing her best, but I think there is I think sort of like the fear of engaging then sort of compounds such that then you remove any kind of history and foundation away from what you're doing, and then you end up in this place where the music is broad and abstract and not giving anything to
Mhm.
any particular structure,
Like
which
sanitized.
yes, which then lets sanitized whites fill in the space, and then people who come in with the very specific lexicons, very specific history, come in and they're just like, "Oh, this space is not for me. This is for you."
Mhm.
And that to me is so is like the most frustrating form of whitewashing because it's so passive, and yet it's so passive that it becomes actively disrespectful.
Mhm.
And that to me, I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't want to be in the space. I don't want to dance. I don't want to spend the currency of my movement in your space, and that's so annoying.
That that there's I was saying this like the feeling under that.
Yeah.
I was saying this. I was actually saying this to Trang. I was like, I said I wrote it down because I'd be forgetting stuff. I'll be talking a lot. But I said I feel like there are parts of me in my experience that I don't see reflected, and it makes me sad. It's hard to bring others in when I know they'll probably feel the same. So
Yeah.
folks will talk about, oh yeah, we want more dancers, we want more dancers, we want more people, et cetera, et cetera. But then you're not making people feel welcomed when they're there. You're not making people feel seen when you're there. You're defanging or trying to sanitize in so many words. You're like trying to sanitize so that you don't offend rather than honestly engaging and being willing to say, okay, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was off, but I'm coming at this from a place of humility,
Mhm.
which I'll say for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. If I'm sensing humility, I'm sensing there's an honesty, like, oh, I genuinely don't know. I'm not taking offense to that,
Yeah.
but I am taking offense when I feel like you're intentionally avoiding, when you're intentionally trying to you don't want to ruffle any feathers, so you just stop being honest.
Yeah.
That to me, I'm like, no, now I have more of a problem with that than I do with someone who is like, hey, I tried my best and my best was misguided.
Yeah.
Because at least you're trying.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is crazy to have an all white DJ set fusion event in Black History Month. And the thing is, like, I don't even think people. I don't even because I know we're both talking about the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even think the people in charge or the DJ even noticed, and the three Black people in the room did.
Oh, oh,
And
sure.
and it's
We holding on by a thread. We out here just like, listen,
yeah. And
listen.
what's crazy is I'm like because I don't I feel like I travel so much that I haven't been able to like really become like a DJ and see, but I'm like I've DJed a couple events and I'm
Mhm.
like and my players are almost all people of color and this is all anecdotal, whatever. I'm just like, everybody's happier. The white people are happier too. And so, which begs the question, like, what are you trying to do with your space? It's a lot of work to do any kind of dance event. And a lot of people are doing it like out of necessity of trying to keep something running. And I'm just like, oh, that's admirable in some ways. And also I'm like, oh yeah, a lot of people, I'm like, oh yeah, this is not your skill set.
Yeah.
And it doesn't need to be everybody's skill set, but I am just like, I think I wish, to be very practical, I'm like, oh, if I knew who was DJing every event, I wish I could see like a sample of one of their set lists.
That actually, I feel like that's actually a really good. I feel like that'd be a really good way to kind of give, at least just give people what to expect out of that night.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I think even just making sure expectations are properly set can do more for whether it's a DJ or it's a teacher or an event or whatever it is. Like you can do a lot more by just making sure people know, hey, look, it's going to be spicy. Like I tried to make it as clear as I could in subtle ways and in obvious ones that there will be loud music. You will be moving your hips. If you can't move your hips, I suggest you learn. You got YouTube. YouTube is free. Figure it out because it's going to happen.
Yeah. And if you don't want to, then you can stay home. It's okay.
And there were some folks who were sitting on the couch, and I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I want to be real shady right now, but I'm not.
Ooh, do it. Come on.
Because look, let me be honest. Let me be so honest right now. Look, sometimes, and don't get me wrong, I understand the creative spark and desire to want to do whatever you want to. But if your main way of expressing dance is becoming one with the dust bunnies, I got a problem with you. I feel like that whole rolling on the floor, it's dangerous. Son. What? Go to the corner. Do that over there. You can't be in the middle of the dance floor. You're taking up space. People can't see, and it's a hazard. What do we? Let's be better. Yeah. So if I play 2 or 3 salsa songs in a row, and that is making you leave, I'm doing my job. That's a little bit. Now listen.
Look. Hey, we got fire.
That's what I'm saying. Look, if you want less of that,
yes,
roll less. That's all I'm saying. Because they swept the floor beforehand. We don't need you to follow up. We're good. I had a person I was dancing with. I'll just say this real quick because I know folks they were like, I knew there was something about him I didn't. No, I was dancing with somebody, phenomenal dancer. I mean, she is thorough, like undeniably good, no matter what style you put her in. And we're dancing, and there was a point at an unspecified event that may or may not have taken place. Anyways, I almost stopped. So we're dancing, and like the song, it wasn't like super fast, wasn't super slow, just very like groovy, kind of in the middle, kind of like a swingy, like West Coast swingy type of vibe, right? So we're dancing and everything, and I'm clocking that their folks were doing the floor roll thing. I'm like, okay, we're gonna move over here away from them. Oh, God. And I had to move away again. Yeah. Then I had to move away again. I'm like, all right, at this point, are y'all following us? Like, is this, like the little old cartoon, how they had to like when they would get into little fights, like the Looney Tunes things, and it's like a dust cloud. I'm like, that's what it felt like. And I'm like, this is not safe for my partner because she can't see behind her. She doesn't have eyes behind her head.
Those eyes on the ground.
There was a point where they came this close to her and she kind of almost stumbles. Thankfully, I catch that's happening. And I catch and lift and move her like from this side to this side. Like I'm up and over, right? Just straight up like, oh, okay, cool. This is why we squat. Like this is why we do things that we do. This is why we deadlift.
Legs are most important, okay?
Exactly that. This is why it was that moment. And had that not happened, it'd have been real bad, Yeah. But I don't even think they were aware of it. No. And I wanted to say something, and they were just like, it's okay, it worked out, just dance. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just dance. I'm gonna be calm.
Yeah.
But I'm not calm.
No, I mean, look, we can read a lot into the politics of who has bodily awareness and who doesn't. Mm-hmm. That's often, I think, very telling. But I also feel like that's kind of what's dictating like in the way of like, even when you were talking about putting together your set, it's like inside of that is like an impulse towards care, and an impulse towards whoever is going to be in the space. I want them to feel like they have a place here. And I think sort of that being able to have that as a compass is a thing that like a lot of people haven't developed, and that's a thing that probably we necessarily have had to develop, because we're used to being in spaces that we have to be aware of who's around us. And I think a lot of people don't have that. And then that, of course, subconsciously becomes a part of dance and music and all these different things, where we're operating from a place of understanding the dynamics of a room in a different way. And you can tell a lot by like who has had to hone that muscle and who has had to like practice that kind of care. And I think that shows up in every aspect of life. But it's also something check.
He's knowing like, hey, how much of me can I actually be in this room?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, I can tell when I'm in a space where I'm like, oh, the people who are running the space haven't had to do that. And it makes me sad 'cause I don't walk into a dance space thinking like, let me interrogate the racial politics of this. I'm just like, I just want to dance. But
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
I enter and I'm like, oh God, I have no choice because this is a course inside of every single element of this. Like even when I was talking about that London dance class I went to, where I was just like, I like walk in, and I'm just like, I know I'm the only black person here. There aren't even other people of color here. It's all white people. And like I register that immediately, and I'm just like, I don't care. I love dance. Like I just want to dance. And then the teacher says some wild thing, and I'm like, God, okay, here we go. Now I'm tired. And now I'm like, God, am I going to stay here? Do I want to walk out now? Like I just want to dance. Like it's I mean, it's just exhausting. And it's the opposite I feel like I had when I went to my first blues event.
Yeah. And I think like, not to, to just kind of harp on that on this point, but I think there's something about like when we make spaces for ourselves, right? There, some of the commentary I've heard from folks that opinions I don't care for as much is like, oh, you're being exclusive, or it's this or it's that. And it's like, well, your space isn't being the kind of inclusive you think it's being, and you're not open to feedback. So if we make our own space,
Yeah.
what's it to you?
Yeah.
It's like you don't even like spicy soup. You just want an invite. Like you don't want to eat.
Yeah.
You got your kids to take care of. You can't be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not even in the country. You don't want to show up. You just want to be included.
Yeah.
But you're included in so much that when there's a space where you don't immediately see yourself, it's almost as if like there's not that muscle or that like that ability to see you and others that we've had to hone out of necessity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that look, this could
Like
be
we've gone to so many events with terrible music and like done our best to make it work. And the people playing that terrible music probably have no idea that we're doing our best to make it work. They're probably like, "Oh my God, look at them! They're so good. They're enjoying it.
They're having so much fun. I'm like, you don't get that camera out my
They're
face.
like, wow, oh my God, my DJ set is killing it. Look at those Negroes hitting their dance." And I'm like,
look at them shuffle. Look at like
we are right now fighting the impulse to murder. Okay, and we are channeling that into this dance. And you have no idea because we're really good at dancing.
Yeah.
And that's and like how lucky for you that like we're still here.
Genuinely, like it's and this is one of those things where I know I can imagine some folks not hearing the heart of what's being said, and to be honest, I'm okay with that. I think there's folks who are, I don't want to say dedicated to misunderstanding, but don't prioritize hearing what's at the heart of what's being said.
Yeah.
And if there's nothing else, I would look at it like, hey, look, this is data. This is free data. This is free marketing, branding data that you can look at and pick through at your own, discretion.
Yeah.
But there's very real frustration here, and I've had a lot of conversations with folks, especially when I talk to other Black folks, other people of color who are introduced to fusion or experience it. That even folks who love it, like, man, there's always this something to it. There's always this like,
yeah,
I wish there was more of me being represented here. So it's hard. And I'm committed. I'm not tapping out. I'm not leaving or anything like that. But yeah, it's not always easy.
Yeah. And it's like even the just to critique it is coming from a place of deep desire, and it's like that's all this is. It's just that we know what the feeling is to be really connected to the music and feel like I could bring anyone into this space and they could find a way into it.
Yeah.
And it's because we know that's possible, and also because we probably in some ways have the tools to register when that's not happening and how that could be happening. It makes it so sad to go to events where it's like, oh yeah, you're operating under a guise of, oh, this is fusion, we want lots of people here, but like none of your actions are doing that. And on some level, I'm like, yeah, that's what your space to be. Like, make it that way. But then I'm like, call it something else. Let me know what I'm showing up for. Because if I'm
Call it freestyle flow.
For fusion, I want diversity.
I want global flavors.
Yes. And if you don't have access, if as a DJ you don't have access to options, then you might not be a good DJ, and that's okay. There are a lot of bad DJs. It's okay to be a bad DJ, but then just recognize that like you are.
Let somebody else step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Like, no, like I do really think that there would be. I think it'd be beneficial if there was like a DJ course, and I know some people have talked about it. There's a person in particular. Shout out to Khan, aka Turkish John, one of my favorite DJs, and also just a great person and someone who's talked about he literally has a rubric. Like he has a guideline. He can teach the art of DJing. And I've never gone to a set by him. And I was like, oh, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Like I've never gone to a set that I was like, that was just okay. It's always been there. It has truly been the standard. And I don't mind giving folks their flowers. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind shouting out folks. No, I know, but like I do think that I think that like having an intention towards building people up would only benefit our community, you know, and not just fusion, but like any community, any dance scene, you know, anything like that. Like, if there are resources available, why not use those resources? If there are people available, why not use those people? You know, folks who are interested in sharing. Like we have a lot of passionate folks, we have a lot of folks who can teach, but they don't have a platform. You know, they have the skill, they have the ability, they just don't have the voice, so they don't have the space. And I think the scene leaders, especially the folks who are organizing, creating events, curating, looking for new things to do, like why not tap in with the folks who have the skills to actually teach, on board, and build up?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah. So
that's all I'm saying.
You want to play?
Okay, so are there any closing thoughts, any words of wisdom, anything that you wanna sit in as we prepare to, yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Really, just shout out to y'all for giving a platform to talk about dance and the community and music and sort of what it means to all of us. Because I think it's really you know, I really stopped coming to fusion events for a long time just because I really felt like something like clicked off and on me inside of me around dance. Because I was like, oh, I love this thing once so much. And when I went to my last event in LA, I sort of realized like, oh no, it was environmental, it wasn't me. Like I actually still really care about this. And I think sort of like inside of everything we say and like all these conversations always face just like a deep, deep desire for connection to this thing that we love. And I think that's a real gift to get to love dance and to get to do it. And so really I just feel like it's we're always reaching for that feeling, you know, and it's so good when we have it.
Yeah. Thank you for all of that. No, I think it comes from a place of love. Like if we didn't love it, if we weren't committed to it, you know, we wouldn't have things. Like for me, I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't care. I'm like, whatever. It's not. I got this thing over here. I got 7 other hobbies that I could be. But no, like I do care, and I sense that there is care. Otherwise, you know, why even you know share?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. This is the You Dance podcast. You can leave 5 stars on Spotify, or drop comments. You know what I'm saying? I like comments. I think they're helpful. They help the algorithm. By the time you're seeing this, there might be more of these. So I'm gonna just give you a quick little shout out Fusion University. Ooh,
hey, come on,
you see it? Oh yeah, we out here. We're working. We're doing stuff. We're cooking. Just because
y'all are doing so much work. It's huge.
Listen, no, folks. Listen, there's so much I want to say that I can't talk about right now. Just I can't talk about. But there's a lot of stuff coming, a lot more on the way, and I'm definitely excited. So yeah, please leave 5 stars. And if you have things that you'd like to hit us with, if you want to reach out to us, you can hit us up at Fusion Dance Podcast on Instagram. That's probably where you're going to get the most active answer. And I know I'm missing something. I know Trang is going to look back and be like, you missed like 5 things, but there's a reason why I'm the creative side and she's the organization side. It's just our balance. But one thing I want to leave us with is that dance is something that you do. It's not who you are. So don't let things and people define you. This is Fusion Dance Podcast. I'm Kaylin. We out. Peace.